For many years, Singapore has been seen as an economic success story, turning from a small island with fewer resources into one of the richest countries in the world. Actually, Singapore is the fourth richest country in the whole world. But how did a small island develop into a success story? How come an island transformed into a developed country? Much of Singapore's success can be attributed to Lee Kuan Yew. Without Lee Kuan Yew's leadership, Singapore would not have been the success story as it is today. But in recent years, some issues have started to appear, raising some concerns about the city-state's ability to maintain its status as a developed country. Several factors contribute to the potential erosion of the city-state's economic miracle. One, aging population. Over the years, the country has seen a sharp decline in birth rates. By 2030, it's expected that 1 in every 4 Singaporeans will be 65 years old or older. With fewer people of working age and more people retiring, there will be fewer workers to support the economy. This could slow down economic growth, put pressure on public funds to care for the elderly, and raise the dependency ratio, the number of non-working people who rely on working citizens. To address this, the government has tried to bring in foreign talent to boost the workforce. But this strategy has faced resistance. Some locals are concerned that an influx of foreign workers could affect their jobs and dilute the country's national identity. At the same time, geopolitical tensions make it difficult to easily recruit foreign workers. Balancing the need for population growth with maintaining Singapore's cultural identity has been a tough challenge. 2. Raising cost of living and inequality. As Singapore's economy has grown, so have the costs of living. The city is now one of the most expensive places to live in the world. Basic needs like housing, healthcare, and education have become much more expensive, putting a lot of pressure on the middle class. Many people feel the rising costs make it difficult to maintain a comfortable lifestyle, despite Singapore's overall wealth. As costs continue to rise, some Singaporeans feel left out of the country's success. While some people are benefiting from the wealth being created, others, especially those in the middle or lower income groups, feel the pressure to keep up. This has led to frustration and discontent among citizens. At the same time, the gap between the rich and the poor is getting wider. Even though the government has introduced programs to help people in need, the difference in wealth between the rich and the poor remains large. For the middle class, the feeling of being squeezed financially is strong. And for the lower income population, keeping up with the rising costs is a constant challenge. This widening gap in wealth could weaken the social harmony that Singapore values, as more people feel left behind. 3. Overdependence on global trade. Singapore's economy has thrived by being one of the world's key trading hubs. But this reliance on global trade has its risks. The country's economic growth depends heavily on its ability to move goods and services across borders without barriers. But when global trade policies change, such as when countries impose tariffs or choose to manufacture goods domestically, known as reshoring, Singapore's economy can suffer. The growing trade between major powers like America and China present a challenge for Singapore. As both countries engage in trade wars or impose restrictions on each other, Singapore risks being caught in the middle. Its role as a neutral place for business is under threat because the disruptions in global trade routes may discourage companies from investing or trading through Singapore. Furthermore, Singapore's open market is very sensitive to changes in the world economy. If there is a global slowdown, as we will witness in the coming years, Singapore's exports and financial services might decline, leading to a slower economic growth. While Singapore has made efforts to diversify its economy by focusing on technology and innovation, its dependence on international trade means it remains vulnerable to global uncertainties. As protectionism rises and countries focus more on building up their local industries, Singapore has to adapt or risk losing its competitive edge. 4. Shifting global competitiveness. Singapore has been a top player in global competitiveness for many years, excelling in areas like modern infrastructure and ease of doing business. Its well-planned cities and advanced economy have made it a hub for global companies. However, other countries in Southeast Asia, such as Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia, are becoming more attractive to investors. These countries offer much cheaper labor, growing populations that create larger markets for goods and better roads, airports, and communication networks. What makes these countries attractive is cheap labor. As the world moves towards digitalization and innovation, technology is transforming industries. While Singapore is still ahead in tech development, these regional competitors are making significant strides, especially Malaysia. In the future, it will be difficult for Singapore to keep its top spot, especially in industries like finance, technology, and manufacturing, where others are beginning to catch up. 5. Political stability and public sentiment. Singapore's political stability, long a cornerstone of its success, is starting to show signs of strain. The ruling People's Action Party, which has led to the country's success since its independence, is facing increasing criticism from various segments of the population. Economic inequality, rising immigration, and the high cost of living are major concerns, especially for younger citizens. Many of them are finding it difficult to secure jobs and affordable housing. In the 2020 general election, opposition parties gained more seats than even before, marking a shift in the political scene. While the People's Action Party still holds power, this change signals that public opinion is evolving. If dissatisfaction continues to grow, it could challenge the strong, centralized government that has helped Singapore thrive economically. Do you think Singapore's economy is crumbling,